Oh, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about the 4-1 loss to the Islanders. It's a pretty unfortunate result because this is a team that has definitely fallen off compared to where they were last year. As the Bruins, we're a team that's looking in the middle of the pack to jump up into the elite tier teams, right? The Carolinas, the Pittsburghs, the Floridas, the Tampas, the Colorados, maybe even the Vegas and Torontos and St. Louis's of the world. A performance like this moves them down instead of up. Gives ground to the teams chasing them, like the Islanders and the Red Wings. Well, I don't think they're going to. It's just not the form you need your team to be trending in towards the playoffs, right? We need to be getting better, not worse. So only scoring one goal against both New York teams is not great. One is might be a little bit excusable when Swayman and Shesterkin go head to head in a goalie matchup a couple nights ago. But against the Islanders, a team that has been struggling this year, the fact that we're only able to put up one goal when we get Bergeron back is definitely continuing the worrying sign of Boston not having the scoring depth to be able to hang around in these games with teams like Carolina, who can put, 6 or 7 goals in your net in a game. Boston don't look like they can do that right now to anyone, which is worrying. But let's talk about the game itself. We can get into more of the league and table analysis after. There was a cagey early start to this game, as you'd kind of expect, where these teams have history with one another. Wallstrom would have a great early period, as he made a fantastic offensive line save as the last man back, and then later on he would do a back check that would break up a Hall and Pasternak 2-on-1. Turned into obviously a 2-on-2 because of the back check. Great work to break it up. Boston were doing a great job of getting the third wave shot up high. And what I mean by that, maybe I'll open it up in Paint. No, I don't mean Paint 3D. I just want regular Paint. Hello? Thank you. So if there's the net here, we've got our circles. The third wave looks like a smiley face. The third wave on your attack is usually you're sending two people in deep, one or two. So one person's going for body, the second person's going for puck, and the third person is floating, right? In this bubble up here with your defenseman. The Boston were doing a great job, especially from this point on the left side for the goalie. There was a couple on the right, but especially on the left, doing a fantastic job of getting penetration and early third wave shots up high. So Nosek had a shot that went over the net. Bergeron had one on the other side over here. Craig Smith had one, and then Holla had one that hit off the post from a little bit lower. This was how Boston were going to get ahead in this game. Couple too many shots went over, but a couple of really nice looks that, other teams probably bury. We have 4 good scoring chances from these opportunities. We have to score on them. Chara was getting his stick sideways early on Bleed and Bergeron, right? Chara was making his presence known in this game. And I thought he was going to get a penalty for it early, but it would actually be Dobson that would go, and Boston would go on an early power play. As he would go for hooking, it was kind of a meh call. But luckily for the Islanders, Boston weren't able to do anything with it. Pasta maybe made a questionable decision with the puck near the blue line. Instead of getting it deep, playing, stable, consistent hockey, maybe trying to force something a bit flary, maybe trying to do a little bit too much, trying to be the whole engine for the offense, like he has seen his role as being when Bergeron and Marchand have been out. Pasternak has been maybe trying to do a little bit too much, trying to take the whole offense on his own responsibility, which can sometimes hurt the rest of your teammates. But it's understandable when the other lines are not finding production. Boston were doing a great job early of keeping the Islanders to the outside on their shots. Like Nelson would have a shot and they'd be looking for the rebounds, but mostly kept to the outside. It would be very, very good start. As the Islanders started to do that to Boston, Taylor Hall would find a way through Sorokin. So from his red line, Taylor Hall would come streaking in along the side, red line here. He would basically take a shot from right about here that would go off the post, off Sorokin, and into the back of the net. 1-0 Bruins. And after this, with 2.5 minutes left, the Bruins were out shooting the Islanders 13-6. It really started to sound like a bubble game. No sound in an arena that I know can be very well. It's not Nassau Coliseum anymore, but I know it can be very, very loud. Their fan base can be very impassionate during that playoff series. It was very weird to hear them down, so quiet, only down a goal, maybe a little bit complacent from the fan base, because when your team has 20 losses, it's tough, right? When you were that close to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. But that would basically do it for the first period, with Boston getting finally rewarded for their chances. Couple too many shots off back glass from scoring position was the one note I had from that period, and that's probably circling back to those 4 great chances we had from the bubble I circled earlier, where Nosek would hit the bar, or Nosek would put it over and stuff like that. Those pucks have to be, for shooting from scoring position, the pucks have to go into scoring positions, not over glass. Second period would start. Bellows would have a really good knuckling backhand that was controlled well by Ullmark. Ullmark didn't have a lot to do early, but he was very strong and consistent. There were a couple pucks that he had to cycle out to the rebounds, but the rebounds were not directly to scoring opportunities, right? More towards the boards or behind his own net. Solid. But the Islanders would build off this for more good pressure, taking lots of shots, right? Not looking up an opportunity to put a puck to the net in a 1-0 hockey game. I like the mentality. Looking for rebounds, but Boston were doing a good job of blocking shots. Coyle would have a broken stick on a block, and then that would lead to more Islanders pressure. Even though you're blocking the shot, sometimes it can come back to burn you because you can put yourself down, right? Like if you block a shot and you can't get off to get a stick or anything like that. The Islanders would go on the power play as the pressure would continue, as Haula would go off for a trip. On this power play, the Islanders would even it up as Barzal drop pass it to Dobson. As Dobson takes a shot from the circle, it hits Ullmark up high, and Pajot jumps on the rebound. So more of that continued pressure and looking for rebounds by the Islanders. They did a great job of that this game. Right after that, so we'd have a response by the Bruins. Sorokin would make a great save on a Carlo Hall shot and rebound. Carlo got the puck and put it at a great scoring place. Low to the pad, but a little bit high, so he's got to reach down with the blocker and crutch over for it. Great chance for an opportunity on a rebound, but gets robbed on him. But a really good scoring opportunity. With about 2.5 minutes left in the second period, the shots be 18-19 for the Islanders. So in the last period, it had been 13-6 at about this time. The Islanders had definitely clawed it back with about the same score the opposite way, right? 13-6 the opposite way. Fourth line energy for the Bruins, and then Hall would hit the post. Bergeron to Riley on the doorstep, robbed as Pastrnak couldn't get Wood on the shot. So we're getting more and more chances from the Bruins as they're answering back to the Islanders' pressure. That would do it for the second period, though. It's a 1-1 hockey game. There's been ebbs and flows to this game, where the first period, Boston definitely had an advantage. Boston were definitely ahead early on shots and had great scoring opportunities. The second period would be the opposite for the Islanders, taking a lot of shots on target, a lot of them getting blocked, but a lot of them creating havoc and looking for rebounds, second and third waves of attack. For both teams, though, they're coming into this, and I think for the Islanders, you've got to be really, really content with this situation. 20 minutes left to go, a very winnable hockey game. You've arguably had momentum in the last period that you could build on. And this is a dogfight now. 20 minutes left. Let's see who can get it done. Both teams seem to be playing to win the period as it started. Hall made a seam pass to Grzelcyk as he just shoots it wide of the post. And then Carlo would blow his tire to Barzal as he would make a cross-ice pass to Bellows. Again, a nice save by Ullmark. Sorry. That blown tire to Barzal from Bellows on the cross-ice pass would end up going in the back of the net. as the Islanders would go up 2-1. And the relentless forecheck would continue to haunt the Bruins. Below the red line, he kicks the puck out to Dobson, shot through the screen, off. Oh, off the post. Wow, 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 wow. So the Islanders keep getting more and more pressure. A lot of one-handed chops at the puck as Boston weren't moving their legs. When you're in a position where you have to take a one-handed swing at the player skating past you, it means you're out of position and aren't moving your legs. We were starting to see that as the Islanders were starting to run away with this, now up a goal, starting to put the pressure and build it on Boston. No such thing as a bad shot on target for the Islanders. They were taking every opportunity to throw that puck at the net, and when you're a team that's not had a lot of luck or a lot of success, sometimes that's the best thing you can do, is give yourself opportunities for the luck to go your way. Physicality would definitely come up now, which is, I think, a good response for the Bruins. If they're getting out hustled, you gotta out force them. The Islanders were battling really, really hard on the walls, though. The Islanders are not a team that's going to go lightly. Pulock would pull two Bruins D on a corner drive, and then tries to hit Matt Martin on like a seam pass across the ice. Ullmark made a powerful lateral move though to make the stop, but the Islanders, as they'd done a lot this game, were able to keep the play alive. Um, Boston would go on the power play as Clutterbuck would take an interference call late on Frederick. And Frederick showed good restraint here. I highlight this especially because previous Frederick would retaliate and take a evening up penalty. This Frederick doesn't. Good restraint, no retaliation. The Islanders would have some great blocks though, and deflections. Pastrnak passes up a shot on this power play that I would have liked to see him take. When we're down a goal, we want players like Pastrnak to feel really greenlit to shoot the puck. How many shots did Pastrnak end with? Uh, 3. Okay. Taylor Hall had 7. Craig Smith had 4. Bergeron had 2. Um, the Islanders would make it 3-1 as a breakout 3v2 Barzal drop pass entry. The Bellows took a shot with purpose and then gets his own rebound. Bellows should definitely not have been allowed to get his own rebound here. He gets robbed when he grabs his own rebound, but the Islanders are allowed to get the puck back again as Barzal wraps around the net and gets the third attempt, which he roofs. Far too many second and third attempts. It's not all the goalie's fault. Obviously, you want him to ideally be a human vacuum machine that gives no rebounds, but that's not reality when the puck's knuckling or when the puck's shot up into his uh his elbow or shoulder. Sometimes it's going to bounce off, and your defensemen have to do a better job of boxing players out and making sure they're collapsing onto those rebounds with assistance from their wingers and centermen. With 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, Boston would pull their goalie for an empty net as the Islanders were continuing to bleed this out. So the Islanders made it 3-1 with about 6.5 minutes left and bled it out to about 3 minutes really well. Then with 1:13 left, I thought Chara got it, but it was Nelson scored the empty netter as Pastrnak tried to force a pass across the blue line. Couple iffy decisions from Pastrnak this game. I think that's a worrying sign in 2 or 3 years' time if he doesn't have that figured out. If he doesn't have it past his mind that he has teammates around him who he needs to trust a little bit more. Take it slow. Focus on your fundamentals. Don't be afraid to shoot the puck. Good things are going to happen when we move our legs. There was times when Boston weren't in this game, and that was the worst part about it. Those one-handed chops at the players and at the puck, I really, really don't like to see. Islanders, though, a lot of positives to take away, especially after that third period. That's a lot of fight against a team that on paper has been a lot better than they have this year. In recent form, though, Boston have not played very well. Their one game against the Senators, yes, it was a shutout, which is always a great clean sheet defensively, but we're still looking for more offensive production. We need more offensive production from this team. We've got 6 goals in our last 5 games. That's not good enough. I'm sorry. That's really not good enough to beat almost every good team in this league, because almost every good team in this league is scoring at least 3 goals a game on average, at least. Our offensive production needs to come up a lot. And not to point out too many names, but there are some people who are getting some minutes that aren't warranting their lack of production. Nick Foligno had 0 shots on goal. Charlie Coyle had 0 shots on goal. Bleed had 0 shots on goal. Rough night for our fourth line. None of our fourth liners had any shots on goal. Lazar, Nosek, and Bleed. Gotta do better. Can be better, right? Across the board. Everyone on the Bruins, except for Taylor Hall, could have done a lot better last night. Taylor Hall seemed like the only one who really was hungry for that goal, or that game, and his goal was even a little bit fluky, off the post from the red line, off Sorokin and in. Not much else to say. Really exciting game for those first 2 periods. Felt really cagey. Sorry, it's not an exciting game for most people, but it's a really, really tight and exciting hockey game if you're invested in one of the teams. Disappointing result, though, and we need the team to build back better in this next game against the Senators, because there's a real test coming against the Avalanche. If we don't score, I think, at least 3 or 4 goals against the Senators, I give us almost no chance of winning this Avalanche game. It's almost like we need to build back our confidence to compete against a team like the Avs. Then, thankfully, we're going to get a little respite against the Kraken again. Can't wait to watch Donskoy play again. Honestly, really exciting player. And then the lineup doesn't get that much easier. Ducks, Knights, Kings coming back. Columbus aren't an easy team. Kings again. Nice. Need to win these. Tough. This is a very winnable schedule right now. I don't want to look down here because that's very scary, but we need to lock it in right now. This is not an opportunity. This is not the time to be slipping if you're Boston. Stay strong. Hold the course. Keep playing and finding your game. The lines are crazy. Get Foligno out of the lineup. Thanks.